the whole Roe versus Wade getting overturned and sending it back to the states. So what the media did to that is inexcusable.
Right.
Because they did, and all Trump kept saying that he did is, I didn't ban anything. I just sent it back to the states. If you've got a problem with them, you have a governor.
Right.
You have your own state Congress. Go talk to them now.
Yep.
And they don't want to do that. Why? Because they want to force it on top of everybody. It's not good enough that everybody has their own freedom. They want to force it on you. And I see that a lot with LGBTQ. It's not just that I want you to accept me as gay or lesbian or something like that, but I want you to accept everything that comes with that. And if you're not completely agreeing with it, then I want to force it on you.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's exactly right. And this is, something that is important is why the 10th Amendment is such a big deal. If it's not strictly at the powers of Congress and at the federal level, then the state should be deciding most of these issues. I mean, that's how gay marriage should have been. It should have stayed at the states, just like Roe v. Wade, right? It should have stayed with the states.
Or just like Department of Education.
Just Department of Education, right?
Should be staying with the states.
And Trump is doing a lot of that. He's putting a lot of that power back onto the states. So it's more important than ever before that those in their local communities understand who their elected officials are and push and promote that stuff. But most people just want to stick to the national politics. And
well, it's not only popular, but I see a lot of people on the left that when they see morals and values that are actually good and upstanding, it makes them uncomfortable. Spiritually, emotionally, it makes them uncomfortable. Right. And all they want to do is knock it down. They don't care if it's in their own community or 2 states, 5 states away.
Right.
If they see it, it irritates them. They just want to knock it down. You got George Soros is out there taking, and we can get into the whole USAID funds where he's pulling USAID funds to fund all these local elections, and he's going into our school boards in our local cities and trying to influence these decisions because he just wants to see the world burn. And you get a lot of people like that they can't leave it alone. If you're a red state, they can't say, well, I'm in my blue state, I'm fine. I've got my abortion, I've got my marriage the way I wanted to. I'm just going to let people live and let live, right? They can't do that. They see something and they got to find a way to knock it down.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And that's just scary that a lot of people with this wokeness or political correctness or not wanting to be imposing upon others just lets it happen.
Right. No, you're spot on.
Lets it happen. Well, let's go to our next clip here that talks a little bit about what you just mentioned with the... All right, so talking about gender dysphoria and this stuff getting into our school systems, back in 2022, we had this legislation coming out to eliminate transgender in girls' sports. But the governor vetoed it, and then the legislature overrode that veto. Let's go through the governor first. Why do you think he vetoed it? What was his excuse? Did he say anything or...
Yeah, he had a statement where he talked about how he didn't think it would hold up in the courts, which for that first version of the bill, he was correct. Like, it wouldn't have held up in the courts, so that's fine. But that wasn't his main reason. As you then listen to his statement after talking about that part, it was this big, long sob story of how, these poor kids, like, we need to love them, we need to treat them with kindness, which we treat everyone with love and kindness. But the part that was completely just deaf to the issue was, what about the girls who then have to compete with biological males? Like, who's standing up for our daughters?
I mean, if it was me, I would have let it. Okay, it's not going to hold up in the courts. Let us try it anyway, sure. And then we could fight. We can amend it later, but at least it stops it now.
And I think that was a realistic concern, but leave it at that then, right? If that's your concern, leave it there and say that's why. But then to go off on a spiel about how these poor transgender kids, like, what are we going to do? Like, I think that's why he really vetoed it. He's got a soft spot for that community and those kids, and he's proven that. I mean, he
proved that in his statement.
He didn't sign my flag bill, and that was one of the long, thought out explanations he put was, we hear you, we love you guys, and talking to those communities who, we don't look at a lot of these bills once again as attacking anyone. for example, if we're going to talk about our dorm bill we ran this last session to protect the dorms for female and male spaces, it was to protect females from being uncomfortable with having biological males in their dorms. It wasn't an attack on the transgender community. It was protecting our girls.